Off and on the clock here today. We've been on a tour around the Underdog lobby. We've done marathons, sprints, weekly winners. Last week we did Superflex. And of course, Underdog just blessed us with a few new contests in the lobby. So we're going to take a peek at what is in there for us today, and then hop in likely the Golden, one of the new single entry tournaments. I'm Pete with Jon and Nez. This is Off and on the clock. Let's do it. All right, guys. This is my first show since Streamyard crashed on me yesterday during Best Ball Breakfast, which was extremely tilting. So hopefully we're on the straight and narrow today. Did you guys have any Streamyard issues yesterday?
No, we were good yesterday. Yeah.
I did see that you had to reboot the stream. That was unfortunate. I didn't know what happened. I didn't see it in real time. I just heard about it. What the hell?
Yeah, and I saw a few other comments. It was like a StreamYard outage at that time. I noticed something. It was so funny, and I got thrown off because so Sean comes on, and this is actually a thing that happened last year when Sean was on regularly. The chat just kind of like dies down when Sean is on. There's like less shit posting, whatever. It's like everyone's like, all right, Sean is talking. Let's listen to what Sean is saying. So the chat just stopped when Sean came on. And I was like, this is like to more of an extreme extent than I've ever seen. I'm like, I know we're showing reverence for Sean, but like no one said anything for 20 minutes. And so there was something weird going on there. And so I said to my producer, Mark, who was helping out there too, I was like, hey, will you refresh your thing and tell me if you see any chats coming in? And he refreshed, and then he's like, shit, now I don't see you guys. And I was like, okay, let me refresh myself. And then I didn't see Sean. And basically Sean was seeing something different than what I was seeing. And then I was seeing something different than what the people on YouTube were seeing. And it was like the stream had splintered into 3 different versions. And Sean's talking in one, I'm talking in another, the chat seeing something else. And I was like, fuck this. I'm just ending the stream and starting a new one. So yeah, it was very frustrating in the middle of a long stream, but it is what it is.
That sounds like a Rick and Morty episode for Stream Bros right there. Like convergent, like diverging timelines that then all re-intersect later down in another reality.
I was going to say that just kind of sounds like one of our episodes, John. Like you're over here, I'm over here. Audience is seeing something else.
And it was like and you know, the draft is obviously still going, and I have Sean's ranks loaded in. So I'm trying to spin up a new stream while also like make picks that make sense so that when we come back, the team isn't like totally ruined. I think we pulled it off, but yes. So needless to say, if you missed Best Ball Breakfast yesterday, it ended up getting basically posted in 2 chunks, and I uploaded the audio in 2 separate sections as well. Pretty clearly marked part 1 and part 2, but hopefully StreamYard has their shit together today. Yeah, and like I said at the top, Underdog dropping more contests. Like, this is insane. This German Shepherd was posted. I have not even had a chance to look at it, and it is already 77% full. A $5
it was
entry,
like
20
50%
max.
this morning, I think.
It's insane.
I love it, man.
Yep, and then let's see what else is in here. So we had the Schnauzer 2 comes back, a $3 20 max up here, and then the Golden, which we mentioned, a single entry here for $10. So no complaining, no excuses, no complaining about what's available in the lobby right now.
No, price point for everybody.
Yeah. And Nez, you already you were too frothy. You couldn't let this Golden just breathe a little. You already ripped it this morning.
I had to because like the Greyhound takes a little bit. You kind of need to like put out a bat signal to get a Greyhound done in time. But the Golden, I hopped in and I needed 1 more to draft. So I was like, all right, let's do it. And let me just tell you, there is no breath of fresh air like entering a single entry best ball contest. I mean, that was fun. I had a lot of fun. My only downfall was I star methoded Sam Darnold like 20 picks too early. But like I got like everybody I wanted to get. I was like, wow, we need more single entries. I'm having fun.
That's what I did in my Greyhound the other day. I was like, I'm just gonna slap it up, complete vibes base, get all my guys right now, and just, you know, I'm not respecting the market. I'm just like, all right, this is the vibes base, let's go. And I just had an absolute blast drafting that Greyhound. It is funny how just like, obviously you can approach any draft like that, but there's something about the single entry that's like, all right, let me approach this a little differently.
Right.
funny that you guys went with the get your guys approach or whatever there, because I said on the stream the other day when it first dropped that these single entries are kind of like a little snapshot in time. So you can look back and see the timestamp of when these were drafted and be like, oh, that's what I was thinking, June 9th back then. And it's like such a clear defined thing, opposed to, BBM, you can, justify there was a faller in my room or someone was doing something structurally. Whereas these are truly like your ball knower takes in an isolated window. And in that same vein, Nez left when I was doing the end of the Greyhound there. My last 2 picks there, Nez, I'm not sure you went back and saw. We took Taj Brooks and Donta Thornton. Those were the scrolly downs to close it, buddy.
I mean, I can't even be surprised.
Those scrolls are like the epitome of just like the most boom bust. Like you either look back on like August 31st and just you're like, I was a fucking genius. Taj Brooks is like the clear RB2 and like the best pick on the board. Or you're like, a beat reporter hasn't mentioned Donta Thornton for 5 weeks.
Right.
I'm worried about that pick.
I don't even know who he plays for, dude. I don't even know who that is. Should I know Donta Thornton?
He's the guy who's going to play ahead of Jack Besh this year.
Hell yeah. Okay, I'm in. Yeah, I got to start taking more of that guy. No, for me, it was just like, you get less sickos in the single entries. It's just like a different crowd that, you could really tell the difference of the lobbies. We might not be able to today once we finally jump in because we're gonna have a bunch of people from the chat. But like, man, just chilling, vibing. It's way different.
I will also say, at the top of Best Ball Breakfast, I was mentioning that I've been drafting a bunch of Superflex puppy teams over the weekend. That was kind of like my go-to if I had a little time to draft. And there was so much interest in the chat to talking Superflex. And then like Sean came on and I asked him if he'd been drafting a lot. And he's like, not so much the traditional ones, but he's like, I've been loving the Superflex contest. And I was like, it was a nice reminder because all I saw was some like negative sentiment on Twitter, people being like, I'll never draft a Superflex contest. I don't like it. And I was like overwhelmed with how many people actually in the chat were really enjoying the Superflex contest, which was nice.
That's awesome.
Last week's episode of like just the conversation surrounding the quarterbacks, that we put so much emphasis on a position that we don't normally put it on, and talking through the dynamics that are.
Oh, I think we lost your audio.
Yeah.
Oh, just for a second.
You're back. Yeah, that was weird. You like cut out, but now you're back. Sorry.
Matrix boys. This is happening again. No, but just like that was for me personally one of my most enjoyable shows we've done in a long time, because the dichotomy of our conversation is completely different than just, I don't know, we'll find a quarterback that stacks later. It really flips the script on what drives the market.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, like, I was saying too, like, like I kind of know in these traditional drafts, like who my targets are going to be in what range, the kind of type of build I'm going to get based on my start. In these super flex drafts, I feel like every single one is just a new adventure of how you're going to attack it. And, someone was asking me in the comments of the video yesterday, like, is stacking and stuff less important in this contest, or is it just harder to achieve? And I definitely think it's just harder to achieve, because you're trying to accomplish so many structural things to just make sure your team is alive. But then you look at that structure like we did with a 375 person final. You're going to want some stacks in a 375 person final. So that's why I think it's so fun. It's like all of the things we need to be doing for BBM are pretty true here. It's just on hard mode because you have so many other objectives you're trying to accomplish.
I mean, we've been talking about some daily stuff behind closed doors a little bit here, and just imagine entering the fullback dive, or imagine entering the bomb in like week 3. How many of those lineups over the course of your season would you not be stacking? Because that's effectively the exact same size as this final, right?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, and I guess the difference in dynamic is just the roster size, right? Where it's a lot easier to get away with not stacking a mobile quarterback when you only have 6 roster spots, where like when we have 20, not to even mention 18, but 20 here. And it's like, we got to take the burden of ourselves to take off the burden of getting 20 individual things right. So I do think that's the only difference, but I do take your point.
I think the biggest thing for me right now is like, I think if you were to compare Superflex to just regular best ball, and in terms of how important getting a top 3 pick is compared to Superflex to best ball. Hilariously important in Superflex. I hate my teams when I am drafting in the latter half. I try to push QB, take the stud running back and wide receiver, and I'm like, I don't even like my running back and wide receiver room, and I started off running back wide receiver. Like, and now I have, like my tight ends are good for like 3 points a game. It is very, very important because you can kind of have your cake and eat it too at the first half if you're drafting at the top 3. But like at the end of the day, man, I would love to get 100 super flexes in. Just being realistic with myself. I got a lot of slow drafts going on right now. So my personal plan, once my slow drafts are finally done, I'm about to go like 10 super flex like slows a day at a time until this thing closes. I want to have some super flex sweats.
Yeah, I like that, where you're at there in terms of like managing your slow drafts. Speaking of which, if anyone in the chat is looking for that German Shepherd action, I just jumped in my 20 German Shepherd slows to fill the mini Schnauzer or the previous Schnauzer slows that just wrapped up. So we got a 20 new cycle going here. If you guys want to draft, soak up that EV of me being in your rooms, hop in now.
I am. You guys are really making me squirm in that. Like I've still held out of 0 slow drafts post NFL draft, and like you start to see some of these contests, and I've had that moment where I've hovered over the like, just enter 5 slows here. If I do what John did, just rip in 20 slows. I'm still holding out, but I will probably break at some point this summer if the contests continue to be this good.
I've found that my limit is 100. I'm in 100.
I think I would find my limit way before that.
Yeah, no, dude. At any point in time, I'm like, I need to sit down and take 10 minutes and do these slow drafts. Now this is, and it's also across multiple sports too, because I'm doing the baseball second half contest and Superflex and Eliminator, like all these different formats all at once. So like I'm constantly having to like turn my brain on to like different contests. So yeah, I'm a little tired.
I'm never going to dissuade people from ripping it in. I just like, I try to have like moments where I'm like all in, like on my phone or whatever, or when I'm doing it, and then where I'm shut off. And I just don't want that like creeping suspicion, like right before I go to bed at night where I'm shit, what if I'm on the clock on 14 drafts and I need to run downstairs? And then I'm going to be wired, like thinking about all 14 picks that I need to make, looking ahead to the next ones. I'm just like, I can't go down that road quite yet.
It is nicer though this time of year to go down that road, Pete, because also, well, for me personally, for the learning curve of getting acclimatized with the player pool, you guys have done that in spades with the fast drafts, but that's really good for me. But then the other thing is with the 8-hour clock and knowing that all of these are going to end well before it's shifting to 4, I can just do it once in the morning when I wake up and once before I go to bed and feel comfortable. That's a little harder to do maybe when Nez is doing 100. But my 30, 35 right now is pretty manageable.
That is true. And that's when I have done the slow draft blitz like that before. You schedule 2 kind of check-ins. But then you have to be willing. Like, what is your, Nez, do you batch them or do you just like have a steady drip as like you just check in and make them as they come?
I batch by like 5 at a time right now.
Yeah.
And I was really cramming in the second half contest for baseball because I don't want to be stuck in 4-hour clock hell. I want to be like in a really good spot with those. But as soon as I'm done with there, then I'm about to ramp up these slows big time. Like I said, like I was doing 5, usually 5 at a time, but I know that I have a huge chunk getting ready to finish, and then I'll probably do like 10 at once. But I got a lot of contests that I want to, get in. So I may like do 5 super flex, 5, eliminator. Those are like my highest priorities at the moment. And I'm just going to be probably like an August bro for BBM, and we'll see how it works out for me.
Not to be like the slow draft bear. This is again being from my own personal experience. The other thing I don't necessarily trust myself with is the tendency to draft very similar teams over and over again, where like you are in this mindset. One of the things I love about drafting all summer with BBM is like John was saying too, your takes evolve, like new news comes, you get into different metas, different flavors. And so sometimes I'm worried, like if I just get to draft 20 of the exact same team or more or less with like how I feel at that moment.
And it's really hard to monitor that as you're going in real time because you'd have to be manually tracking your exposures throughout, right?
Well, I'll give you an example of like the opposite of that, where like I put out a little tweet a couple days ago where I'm like, Jaydon Blue drafters, like, sell me. Can somebody please tell me why like Jaydon Blue is worth a 140 pick? And I didn't necessarily get like a concrete answer, but basically what I heard is, hey, he can run really fast and he's playing on the Cowboys, and who else is there? I normally don't like who else is there arguments, but just an example of like, changing your mind on somebody and being able to like, okay, well now I don't have to do a whole new draft to get that exposure. Oh, I'm up on the clock here at pick 130. All right, well, let me just like take a little Jaydon Blue. I might, just in general, just for anybody when you're on the clock like that. Like I like doing that quite a bit.
Yeah. What was a more controversial tweet, your Jaydon Blue one or your Rob Gronkowski one?
Holy shit, brother. I didn't think the Rob Gronkowski thing was going to be like that big of a deal. I was just like, it was just a little jokey joke troll tweet. Whoa, did that find an audience? I mean, holy shit.
I found it like this. You missed it? Oh, you got to go back.
Find it. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, Nez got people really worked up. On the like, just it is funny, like on the specifically on the Jaydon Blue Miles Sanders thing, because it was like on Best Ball Breakfast yesterday, like Pat and I was kind of like starting to like make the case for Miles Sanders and kind of building up why I've been like clicking him a decent bit at the end of drafts lately. And then Sean comes on during his and makes a really, really strong case for Jaydon Blue. And honestly, it's kind of what's happening with the Jags backfield too, right? Like people are making really strong cases for Tootin, for ETN, even people for Bigsby. It's like, no, there's a reason they're ambiguous backfields. There's reasons why you can make strong cases for each of them. So yeah, I really enjoy those debates on the ambiguous situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sean really sold me. I'm just like, yeah, I guess this guy can like do. I'm like, well, his touches are like in flux for me, but he does have that profile where like he only needs a few touches to like get home because of how straight line fast he is. But yeah.
He's a really good pass catcher, right? Like that's his MO.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good at that at Texas. Yeah, so really fast and a really good pass catcher, which if you're going to give me two skill sets at running back in a pretty good offensive system, like that, those would be two I would like from my running back.
No, you're not wrong.
One other dynamic I wanted to talk about is we're very close to seeing the flippening of Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson. For a while, I have the Superflex ADP up right now. They're really close right now. Daniel Jones 88.2, Richardson 85.6. In the traditional, the gap is slightly bigger, but not by much. Richardson 192.9. Daniel Jones 201.7. And we just got the news, I believe earlier this morning, Anthony Richardson's going to see another specialist about this. It's starting to sound more and more ominous about his availability, not only for training camp, but if he ends up getting surgery, this is an old injury, yada, yada. That's an interesting kind of dynamic for drafts, because this was another ambiguous situation that people were kind of playing both ways. And now it seems like Richardson might be kind of on his way out.
I think I might take a contrarian ass stance here as I'm prone to do. But
shocker.
Daniel Jones seems like an eliminator ass pick, does he not? Where it's like this team, we're not necessarily forecasting to be like that great, or the market's not forecasting to be that great in terms of competing for a playoff spot or something like that. Isn't this kind of like your last kick at the can to see if Anthony Richardson has anything? So when you're 4-6 with Daniel Jones at the helm, won't you just turn back to Richardson and be like, ride this thing out, and he's the guy you have for week 17, and now we're just getting it at a more palatable price point?
So I was with you until like then you have to make the same like take that I agree with is like Daniel Jones can't hold the starting job. I think you then have to flip that back onto Anthony Richardson whenever he takes over the job. Like, can he hold it for more than 3 to 4 games? And so I do think there is an element of hot potato here, but just once you add in the health element and maybe bring into question him even starting week 1 or being able to, I think you just get one other notch in the Daniel Jones column.
Man, I can talk myself into Daniel Jones. Not to just make this into an entire Daniel Jones segment, but like, I kind of look at the sum of the Colts parts, and I'm like, this could, like, it would not surprise me if this was a good offense. Like, we draft a lot of the Colts in best ball. You know, like we like Downs. Pittman was a 4th-round pick last year. AD Mitchell, you know, high draft capital. Alec Pierce was like, you know, the deep ball king. They just drafted Tyler Warren. Jonathan Taylor, former 101. I don't know, man. The sum of their parts are kind of nice. And once upon a time, Daniel Jones took a team to the playoffs. I mean, I was kind of like leaving the light on for, you know, Anthony Richardson copium, and that like, hey, you know, who cares about this season? Let's just like try to squeeze it the last bit we can get out of Anthony Richardson. But now that you factor in this shoulder injury, Daniel Jones, 3rd QB in regular best ball, let alone, you know, 3rd or 4th QB in Superflex, is like totally in play for me, just given those factors. But I could easily just like be sipping too much Kool-Aid on that.
It's a really weird archetype for these guys, right? Because you can go down the road, you know, it's like, okay, Aaron Rodgers, kind of a boring pocket passer. You know, his ceiling is like what Matthew Stafford gives you, like 25 picks higher or something. You can do the rookies like Jackson Dart, like dead ass, not going to play the start of the season, probably doesn't start until like week 10 or 11, but hey, probably a lock to be playing in the fantasy playoffs and has some running juice. Like you can fit these guys into kind of like archetypes. Same with Russell Wilson. The flip side, you're going to get 10 to 11, probably solid starts, and then you're probably going to have a 0. Whereas Anthony Richards, like fucking anything can happen here. Like he's going to have some starts. You have no clue when they're going to come. You have no clue if he's going to even perform well when he does get to start. It's just like a weird profile to draft now, because at least with Jackson Dart, you know, or some of these other rookies, you can say like, well, what if they are starting in the fantasy playoffs and the team is incentivized for them to be starting then as well? So your interests are aligned in a way. I'm like, how do our interests align with Anthony Richardson right now?
Right.
Yeah.
I think the interest aligning argument would be kind of like Justin Fields last year, kind of what we presumed Trey Lance was going to give us at one point, was when he does start, and because we've seen it before, he ranks out as like QB5 for that isolated week when he's actually playing. And the fact that we've seen that before, and even when Danny Dimes is starting, he's still like QB15 in our models. That's what entices people, is like that potential, oh, he can slate break for us because we've seen it.
Yeah. And I could see things, to your point, John, like I could see myself like, so the situations I've been drafting Dart are, you know, say I have a team that's like, I get boxed out of quarterback. I have Tua and Matthew Stafford. And I'm like, man, just give me an upside swing for a 3rd quarterback in the 18th. Like I've been gravitating to Dart. You know, if Dart's off the board in that situation, I'm looking for that archetype. You know, Anthony Richardson might be the last kind of guy who can realistically give that to you if that's what you're looking for. I just think it's a little even shakier bet than even Dart at this point.
I think we got the perfect format for Anthony Richardson. It's 18th round weekly winners.
Yeah.
There you go. Solved.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And even then it's funny though, right? Because like you talk about your weekly winners lineups telling a story, you know, as far as like when you're going to win, but maybe you can kind of just have your cake and eat it too there and be like, maybe it's at the beginning, maybe middle, maybe a little end. And I'm writing up for Fantasy Life this week. I'm kind of updating the best late stacks right now. I had done it pre NFL draft, and like some of them I'm removing from the pool just based on what happened, but I'm now including the Colts because I do think they're such a strong team. You have the 2 pass catchers that are the better and best ball types, and Alec Pierce and AD Mitchell. You have a really premium, exciting rookie handcuff in DJ Giddens, and then you have Daniel Jones now. And like I basically, anytime if you have one of Downs, Pittman, or Warren, you add you know, one of Pierce and AD, and then ideally Giddens, and then in Daniel Jones, and it's like it's a really nice back stack right now.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout there. I like that. My mind also goes, you know, Giants kind of fit that same mold a little bit if you want to take the Jackson Dart swing late. And then a little bit more premium would be Panthers.
Those are 3 of my 5 that I'm writing.
I'll stop spilling the sauce.
No, it's good. It's in Panthers are the one holdover that I have. And it was interesting to actually look at the ADPs, like pre them drafting Tet and after, and like not a lot has changed. Not a lot. I mean, those guys are cheaper. Like the Thielen and Cokers are cheaper than they were before. Bryce Young, Legette's ADP is very comparable. JT Sanders, I think, has literally the exact ADP. So they continue to, I think, check almost every box for like a premium backstack. Almost all of those guys are year 2 guys. Young, Sanders, Coker, Legette, like the exact kind of team you would want to bet on taking a step forward. It's not to say that they are. It's just that's generally what a breakout offense looks like, that we don't see coming. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see here. You guys want to draft?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Fast drafts only for the Golden here. Single entry, $10. Let's do a 30-second pick so we have a little time to discuss stuff. And we can look at the structure here right before we hop in. Another really sick structure here. 2 of 12, the traditional, but then 1 of 6, 26-seat final. Just a super, realistic path to making a finals there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's super fun. I didn't even notice that. And then so 26, so $100 for making the finals. That's nice, man. That's nice.
Yep. So if you make it to the finals, like Nez said, you're locked into a 10x. And then if you finish 10th, so what, you're in like the top third, then you're looking at 100x. And then if you get first, you're looking at that 1000x on your buy-in.
Awesome structure.
Let's see here. I just got the ADP in, so we can kind of raw dog this. 2 more available here if you guys want to draft your Golden with us.
You know what? I've been thinking a lot about the bankroll stuff recently. These nice little ones scattered throughout are nice ways to subsidize your exposure in the bigger contests in a big way.
Yeah.
Like you find your way to like a final, let's say you hypothetically do like 400 entries over the course of the summer and 150 of them are BBM. Like your net EV on those are like, minus 2,200 or something like that. It's so easily subsidized by just happening to make a final in some of these single entry side contests.
Yeah. And part of that conversation too, about kind of like the contest selection and the lobby and people wanting stuff is like, there are contests that can service whatever your specific goals are. Like if you want to play just these time box single entry contests, the low dollar 20 maxes, like you can get it in good on a budget. Like you really can. Or if you want a shot take, there's that for you if you want to explore, so I do really think that the lobby is engineered. Not every contest is going to be exactly what every single individual person wants, but there's enough of a buffet there to allow you to accomplish, what your specific goals are with your best ball drafts.
Yeah, well said. The entirety of the lobby is telling a story, right? And
I was laughing how long this took to fill too, because we have people like Big Sonny said, admit I wanted to get in the draft, but blew my load early.
Everybody does that, man.
We told Nez that we were going to be drafting this on stream, and he still already did his. So it's contagious.
Short memory. I was like, let me just see. Let me just check the lobby. And 2 left whenever I did it. It was a nice 20-second hit.
I do think now that there are so many contests in the lobby, like one of the reasons I was doing a ton of the super flex over the weekend is because they were filling really fast. Like I never had to wait for the super flex.
Yeah.
I still think that might be my current overall wish list item for the Underdog tech is to have just like, hey, sprint, give it the JMC 6 of 12 in there, just the little thing next to it. And then I can just be like, all right, I only got 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Let me just hop in whatever contest I can fill right now.
Yeah.
I agree.
The one pushback is if it sits idle at 0 out of 12, does anyone ever jump?
Yeah. Hang on. We're on the clock here. Neighbors falls to 10. Amon-Ra, Nico, BT. I've been gobbling up Neighbors here, but I'm open to other ideas.
Neighbors.
John. Yeah, this is John's like first round flag plan.
There you go.
My first round flag plan is 8.3% of everyone. Nez.
Oh, come on, copyright infringement. What are you doing? You're gonna get sued.
Oops, this is my my personal calendar here. I'm trying to get my right screen up. There we go. Yeah, I think Underdog just posted on, I don't know if it was the main account or the drafts account, like who you taking in the back end of round 1. And there was already a lot of debate taking place there.
Yeah, who would you guys take right now? Like that's Genty, Neighbors. I just opened up the tweet. You guys make the pick. Sorry.
Brian Thomas falls to 15. I feel like Thomas Neighbors is kind of hard to get.
Yeah, let's just roll that. You know, it'll be rare here, rare in general.
Yeah. You'll see lots of BTJ and Nico. You'll see, you know, a decent amount of BTJ and some Brock Bowers there, but I can't recall seeing when you get Neighbors to slide just one pick and Brian Thomas one pick, it does make it fairly unique.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of London steam right now. London's getting talked up all over the place.
Is he? Who's hyping him? I've missed the London steam.
Rabes was hyping him up on the 5 players that you draft now with Hayden and Josh. And then the Market Monday stuff, Lev was talking about it too. So, yeah.
So yeah, that was good, Pete.
No, you go ahead.
I was just say that Underdog tweet was CMC, Genty, Amon-Ra, Neighbors. I think I've been talking about this a little bit. I think it's comfortably Genty last out of that group. It sucks, but like I'm definitely going to be light on Genty this year. I think with the way that his ADP is going.
Let's see if Pete gets the same reaction I got right here. Let's see what comes up first for him. That's why I reacted that way.
Jesus Christ!
Wow. Goodness.
I went to look for the tweet, and that's all I saw, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Hit the head. I'm trying to I am clearly not going hard enough on my assault bike. I think Rudman has the same one as me because I have never been close to being at risk of this happening to me. I must not be going hard enough. I wanted to pull up the was it the main Underdog account or was it Underdog Drafts?
It was the Drafts account.
Okay. Oh no.
Oh, there it is. They retweeted it.
Yeah, CMC, Genty, Amon-Ra, Neighbors there. Which is funny too, just because of the ADPs and stuff. I guess they're all now kind of bunched up together. But this really is like, who are you as a fantasy drafter? It like tells a lot about who you are. And just also because you have like the old guard, new guard at both running back and wide receiver there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's say it. You said Genty last, but let's hear it, Nez.
I think gun to my head it'd be CMC, but Neighbors would be a close second.
You'd go CMC, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Genty.
Yeah.
Neighbors, CMC, Amon-Ra, Genty, I think.
What about you, John?
I think I lean CMC first too, Nez. I think I would do CMC, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Genty.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyreek continues to fall here. I've been okay scooping up the Tyreek dip. I'm good though with other suggestions.
Yeah, it's a good dip. Let's just do it. But man,
I really like it when you get like these 3 that are going to be unique together. Not that it matters a ton with a 26-person final, but starting this piss boy, 3 good players, 3 unique like this, and knowing that I really like the pocket of running back at that 5-6 on the way back, or if Brees makes it around the end here.
Yeah, and Brees does go. But yeah, I do like it too. Neighbors, Thomas, Tyreek, and if you're going to, like, I understand being indecisive about Tyreek, you know, with this crew, like, man, let me just take Devonta Adams if I want that kind of play or whatever. But when they all come off the board first, you are building or baking out even less risk, I think, of that pick than you are at like the 2-3 turn or whatever.
100%.
Looks like James Cook was back at practice after kind of threatening a holdout. We got the elite quarterbacks here. Xavier Worthy. You could pull up a guy like Hampton potentially. You could grab Worthy or Hunter if you want to set up like the premium double with the Jags. Too early for tight end. What do you guys think?
I'd be Allen or Hunter, I think.
I like those.
Let's do Allen.
Let's
do Allen. We normally don't do like elite QB in general, I feel like.
No.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't take a lot of Josh Allen. So this is another value and a chance to do something different. Try something new.
Yeah. I like it there too, especially because it's like Neighbors, we talked about the stacking stuff, a little tricky. Brian Thomas, I love stacking him up with Lawrence. Tyreek Hill, 2 is fine, but nothing you get super excited about. Whereas you take Allen, and now we can say like, okay, which of these kind of quarterback options do we want to get cheaply? Like we can, be patient. And the only thing you lose out on is just the dynamic we've been discussing a lot, which is like you get between pick 110 and 140, and the quarterbacks seem like much stronger picks than the other positions.
Yep. Yeah, I like the idea of like Allen being able to like insulate Dart if that's where we went. Josh Allen, it's by week 7, so we would probably ideally need another quarterback as well, but just the idea that he can kind of regardless kind of shelter a 0 from Dart for the most part, if that's an option for us too, is kind of nice here.
Yeah. Yeah, this you could definitely see a little bit more of the like go get your guys in this draft. George Kittle goes at 43, obviously ahead of his ADP, but if you like want that elite tight end, like kind of last call there in the 4th, knowing he's not going to come back around. We see Achane move up here a little bit from the middle of round 2 to the 1-2 turn. So yeah, going out and getting your guys in the single entry contest.
That little pocket of running back now has become the Grand Canyon there.
Yeah.
The
from Brees to James Cook.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah, you're not kidding.
I'm going to keep scooping up that Waddle like Basketball Viper does there. I'm in on Waddle this year, guys. I think there's just so many paths to it breaking right.
Yeah. I think he's a solid pick even without the kind of like Tyreek funny business stuff. Because I think you can just have a bounce back on this offense being more efficient. In the contingent up, like we've paid a lot more for the Jalen Waddle contingent upside than we are.
Right.
Here.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really fun pocket of tell yourself a story of DK Metcalf with Rodgers, Jalen Waddle just being Jalen Waddle, and then George Pickens contract year with Dak.
I'm willing to call the room's bluff on this Joe Mixon slide. I haven't had an opportunity to scoop it yet. And granted, this is only a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not scared about Nick Chubb personally.
Yeah, I'm good.
No, me neither. I like Mixon.
Did Walker go already?
He
yes.
did. Yeah, just 2 picks before. Yep.
Yeah, then I'm good with Mixon.
Yeah, I think Mixon will fall in other rooms, but like it's the golden. It's not going to be that much of a fall, I think, throughout this contest opening. And this guy here needs a running back. He might scoop up Mixon too, but I hope we get a Mixon fall, and I think we might, but I'm not sure because like dynamics have changed where like last year, 2 years ago, the people drafting Joe Mixon, would probably be very receptive to a dusty running back signing there. Now I think like the Mixon drafters, in my opinion, and it's not just because I'm taking him more, are like a sharper crowd. And I think they'll be less receptive to a Nick Chubb signing, causing him to fall. That's just kind of my take. But I hope he falls because I'll continue to take Joe Mixon just because Nick Chubb signed there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. All right,
let's do it. Kamara.
What do you
do it?
You want to do Kamara?
Yeah, let's. I love this little pocket right here.
Yeah, I'm certainly good with it. I also like Henderson at running back, but I'm good. I've been trying to get a little more Kamara lately.
Yeah, this is nice. This is a pretty damn good start. I think with this start here, it really allows us to kind of like take some upside swings later on. Like I think we just we just absolutely scooped up like weeks 1 through 4 projected points, like no one's business here. This is a pretty nice start.
If you're trying to figure out why Mixon is falling in drafts, it's because takes likeness exist out there.
I was just about to bring that up.
Dude,
it was like, if you're a believer in that, like Nick Chubb should have been like a 11th round pick this whole time. Like, you know,
for the audio listeners, Matt says Chubb outscores Mixon. I'll bet you any amount of money you want straight up on that, Matt. Me too.
I love it. Just a family man. He's a real good guy. Everybody be nice to Matt. He's just out here having takes, standing for something. I love it.
You know?
Oh,
sometimes you got to call that bet that gets placed. You know, sometimes you just got to call it.
I mean, similarly, I really hope Dobbins signs to Denver. Just for the RJ Harvey. Did it? I don't.
Did you get got by the fake Mike Kills, Mike Kliss, or whoever the Denver beat reporter? There's a spoof one of his tweets that got decent traction.
Oh. Yeah, I saw that this morning. Like 2 years, $6 million plus incentives or something. Not real.
No. I think there's some interesting things going on there. You know, Sean talked about it a little bit yesterday, and the ADP chasing guys were talking about it this morning of just like how it works out with the Chargers retaining Dobbins, right? I think after like July 20th or something. And so Dobbins is kind of in this limbo period where he's just trying to build up some leverage. And I think taking these visits, because his whole thing is why he turned down the initial Chargers offer. He thought he was getting underpaid. And so now he's trying to, I think, manufacture a little bit of leverage. But Sean made a pretty convincing case that he thinks he's still destined for Chicago, which would be another very fun one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know it's J.K. Dobbins, and like, you know, we don't have to get too excited, but man, if he lands in Chicago, where does he go? Like, does he go before or after Najee if he goes to Chicago?
I think probably slightly ahead of Najee. I feel like drafters would take Dobbins ahead of Najee in that case.
I think that was a really good initial line set, man.
Yeah.
I'm dialed, brother. I'm dialed.
Okay, we are on the clock here. We got Mr. Pink Cocaine, Jon and Aiyuk. We do have the aforementioned Swift and Jones. I think I'd be more like wide receiver or tight end here. I also like Josh Downs.
Yeah.
What do you guys like?
I like Diggs or Cup, but nobody likes Cup, so let's take Diggs.
Nez, you got to take.
Get the 2C boy on here.
All right, yeah, let's grab Mr. Miami Yacht Man. We are starting to build up some character concerns. Is this the most character concerned team we've ever drafted? Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Tyreek Hill, and Stephon Diggs.
Absolutely. We threw our moral compass off the boat for this one.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. I had a knock at the door. FedEx package had to be there for you. Simply couldn't be left at the doorstep. I had to give this to you.
So I'll do this again. Big saying, why are people week 17 stacking in a okay, you're saying specifically week 17 stacking. Yes, I thought you were going to say stacking in general. And I was going to do the whole thing about stacking. The benefits you get from season-long stacking, are still very important in a contest like this. But as far as like week 17 stacking, I agree. I think that the power of the bring back in a 26-person final is pretty small. Like I can't imagine reaching for any week 17 bring back in this specific contest, but I don't think it's bad if you're doing it at cost or whatever. Just like, hey, it's a nice little benefit to a click.
Sonny got lucky, man. You almost unloaded the clip.
I was about to do my stacking pulpit thing, but then I saw week 17. I'm like, yeah, what? Yeah, you're not going out of your way.
Yeah.
Okay. Aiyuk, Hockenson.
I think I like taking this. I think I like taking the swing on Aiyuk, given how strong our roster is. Hawkinson's a really fun pick, but I kind of like the little bracket of tight end that follows this.
I'm cool with Aiyuk. I think that we have built out a lineup that can, withstand any sort of bumps in the road that could come with Aiyuk.
Also, you want to know why you can't draft TJ Hockenson today? Did you guys see this?
Yep.
Here to stay. Minnesota Vikings have agreed to terms with Josh Oliver on a contract extension. Why take Hockenson when you can just get the guy who just got a 3-year extension worth $23.25 million in the 18th round?
That is a touching tribute to the shirt in which I'm wearing, because if memory serves, Dark Sheep Scroll the F Down in the Dog Bowl was a contrarian Josh Oliver stack.
I remember that one.
He still made out like a bandit.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Wow. Kelsey went there. There goes that tight end pocket I was referring to that comes back on the other side of the board, that Kelsey, Andrews, and Jonnu and whatever come back around. But it's getting pushed up now.
Yeah, Kelsey is the tight end 2 ahead of Hawk. That's interesting there. Here's the team for our audio listeners. We got a 1-2-5-1. We got Josh Allen. We got Mixon and Kamara at running back, up to 5 wide receivers here. Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Tyreek Hill, Diggs, and Aiyuk. And then still tight end list here. But that'll be kind of I think that'll work out well in that, we took Josh Allen. We know we can really push QB2 or wait for a value in that range where a lot of the running backs, wide receivers, specifically wide receivers, dry up. Now we're in primo spot to maybe pick off a couple of the tight ends in that sweet spot.
Yeah, that's true. Does your guys' mind, we got elite quarterback right now. We got some, vet running backs, and then we got some premium wide receivers with a couple swings. Does your mind shift right now that we're probably going to spend 5 at the onesies, 2 at the quarterback, and 3 at the tight end now?
I think that's probably how we're headed. I could see a 3 quarterback build where you do Allen, Tua, and Dart, something like thin, or Allen, Tua, and you want to toss on Tyler Shuck with your Kamara or something like that. 2 really late guys, 17th, 18th with Allen. I could potentially see, but yeah, I think we're most likely headed. You guys, are we playing the hits with Scatabo? I mean, is that still our guy?
Tin Man have a sheep metal.
I don't know, dude. I want to take the stack. The stack. It's highlighted. Keon? Yeah, I love a good bit, but I would love to stack our QB1 if possible. That we spent a lot of draft capital on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Though you can still do it with Dalton Concaid and all these guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds awesome.
Austin Knox in the last round, baby.
My God.
I will say, if you want to do the Matt bit from this episode, now on to Josh Oliver outscores Hockenson. One that I would actually entertain is saying Joshua Palmer outscores Keon Coleman. That wouldn't necessarily shock me. But yeah, man. No, I think Keon's a fine pick there.
Keon is the ultimate better and best ball pick.
I'm just worried he might be the ultimate veteran CFL pick. That's kind of my concern.
Oh my gosh. Come on. He has too much charisma. He's too funny. He's gonna last. You need to do the personality model and this guy has superstar personality. He's gonna stick.
Okay. All right.
He said, did I tell you guys this? If he had 24 hours left to live, what he would do?
Play football.
He said if he had 24 hours left to live, he'd sleep until noon. He's the man.
That's pretty good.
I love that. Because I think in his head, he's literally thinking I don't want to have any responsibilities, any work, realizing that he can spend those hours doing whatever he wants. You can't still wake up at night and do something fun in that scenario, Keon. Look at this. Cam comes back. If you love something and it's meant to be, let it go. And if it's true, it'll come back to you. There you go.
I still think I would have preferred Cam and Andrews there, but I'm good with it.
Who?
Andrews and Scatabo,
over Keon Coleman.
Pairing. Yeah.
Mark Andrews is definitely a nice value there.
Yeah. And then Scatabo gives our dusty wide receiver room or running back room some ceiling there.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't mind the thing there. We go Aiyuk, Coleman on the heels of a really nice wide receiver room. there also are just like outside of Palmer too, which isn't like the kind of profile we're going to want as a late wide receiver. You know, there's no other fun like rookie stacking option with the Bills late. So we're probably going to be close to powering it down at wide receiver anyway. So I don't mind it.
And it looks a hell of a lot better on this roster than 18th round Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds silly because like it's Mark Andrews, but I am warming up to Mark Andrews. I did not have a lot of him up until this point, but just started to click his name a lot more and making a point to take him because I've been doing punt tight end quite a bit. But I'm interested in Mark Andrews into my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with this price. I mean, Andrews at 114, especially on a Lamar team. So this drafter, Mob Dog here, takes Lamar at 42, grabs Hockenson at 90, which was a little bit of a value there, and then is still able to get Kupp and push Andrews back around. I imagine it had to have been tempting to just take Andrews there at 103 and lock up that stack.
Yeah. Wow. That is the benefit of taking Lamar. You can just kind of push it like that, and chances are it'll come back.
And the thing is you also have the safety blanket of likely. I've kind of, in the Superflex puppies, I've kind of been like mixing and matching it, where it's like sometimes I'll take Andrews with him just like at ADP, but then sometimes I like, let me push it, and if not, I'll just make likely a target. And I kind of like how that works out.
Would you ever do mix in Lamar 101 in the Superflex, or you just want to like try to flatten out those Superflex exposures?
It's funny you say that because I have not gotten a 101. I've been deciding, trying to balance, because I've gotten a decent amount of 102, 103. So I've been just trying to get like even Lamar and Jaydon basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wish I had that problem of too much Josh Allen. It'd be nice.
I know, right? Like, oh.
So here's kind of the first, I think thing we can think about too, of as far as like quarterback, of like, do we want to try to make a play for Trevor Lawrence with one of these next two picks, or are we okay letting him go?
What's his bye week? 6?
Bye week is 8.
It overlap or no? 7. Okay. Yeah.
7. Yeah. And then where's the Travis Hunter drafter?
What do we win if we win? What are the alternatives?
So Sharbs is kind of the running. Sharbs is a huge running back value here, actually. He dropped.
Yeah, let's take Sharbs.
We all like Sharbs
guys.
too.
Yeah,
and for sure.
Yeah, let's do Sharbs. I didn't even. Yeah, that kind of surprised me that he was there. Yeah, that's a strong pick at 130. And I don't think. So the other decision too, like if we're looking at ADP, like Ray Davis would obviously be a nice 5th running back on a Bills squad. And also, so we should probably do a Bill here, right? We should actually probably do Concaid or Ray Davis.
Yeah, I'm good with Concaid, Ray Davis, or Lawrence.
I think those are the decisions for sure.
Yeah.
I would probably prefer Ray Davis.
Sure.
Kyle Dvorak, like, I was never high on Concaid, and then he tweeted out that poll of like who scored more fantasy points last year, Concaid or Foster Moreau, and like, wow, I didn't think I could get more bearish on Dalton Concaid.
I think I'm coming around. Yeah, I think I liked one of the Bills. I'm okay letting Lawrence go. And I'm good with Ray Davis if you don't want to mess around with Concaid.
Let's do it. And then maybe this does become a 3-quarterback team, or is Tua enough,
Yeah, well, that's the beauty about Josh Allen. I do think Allen and Tua is enough if you want it to be. But then like Dart is just the perfect selection because what you're asking of him is so little, especially if you don't like the other options in round, 17 or 18, and then Dart becomes pretty fun.
I'm kind of in agreement with Henny in the chat right now, but it's kind of like, what do you spend the capital at, where he said you could stop at 5 running backs here. And it's like, that's the kind of beauty of, starting the way we did. And we didn't even take a running back until round 6, yet we feel comfortable enough to stop at 5 in round, whatever, we're 12 right now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we could definitely shut it down.
Yeah, it's cool. We'll quarterback run in this pocket here.
Yeah, Lawrence goes unstacked to a drafter who had just snapped off Dak and Love there, which is
Awesome.
interesting. But yeah,
that's the window. Got to hammer the window. I'm just gonna say
Strange on the way back. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he's setting up. I'm just gonna say, speaking of Dalton Concaid, one of the funny things for me on ADP chasing is like, Shope does such a good job of just like kind of letting the the guys like talk through their players, keeping the train moving, and then like when Dalton Concaid comes up, he's finally like firing off his opinions. He's like,
perked up.
Yeah, why can't Dalton Concaid be good? He's just a young guy. Like why can't he finally be a good player? I don't understand. Like he gets so mad. If he actually gets fired up, it's a great.
That's like similar to the bit of Dink on Establish the Million, right? Where he's just like pretty level headed on all of his player takes tournament stuff, and then like the Bears come up and he's just like gets this extra sale at his wins.
Somebody's described him as a caveman discovering fire when the Bears come up during Establish the Million.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. This comment from Bingo Bongo did cross my mind too, that there is potential of this being a 4 tight end team. Like I wouldn't necessarily rule that completely out of the picture if you're 4 tight end curious. There you go. He took Brenton Strange for you. Took Brenton Strange.
There you go.
This guy's sharp.
Yeah.
He did have Dak stacked.
Love stacked too. So yeah,
okay.
You just had to get that. I think in good on wide receiver. Henry, Trevion, Brian Robinson's a good running back room. So you know what? I got nothing bad to say. Got nothing bad to say. Yeah, this is the running back and tight end round here. Trey Benson, Likely, Algier, Garendo, Strange, Ferguson. For the listeners, we got a 1-5-6 going here. Josh Allen, Joe Mixon, Kamara, Scatabo, Zach Charbonnet, Ray Davis, wide receivers, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Brandon Aiyuk, Keon Coleman, and lo and behold, you didn't want Dalton Concaid at pick 135, but can I interest you in him at pick 154?
I'm going to tear my hair out, brother.
You need it. We have to do it.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a malpractice to not take Concaid here.
This is sick though for a single entry when you're able to get like basically every single bill at a value there with the correlation is really nice.
Yeah, considering we already have Josh at a value as well, is just this is coming out nicely, guys. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, really really good patient there, and we've just been absolutely value hounding Scatabo, Sharbs, Davis was at ADP, and then Concaid, another big faller here. This is probably another tight end pick.
I was going to say Romeo Doubs and shut it down at wide receiver, but if you guys don't like Doubs, then I'm down with tight end.
Oh God, I'm just looking at Kyle Pitts.
we can moonball Kyle Pitts, or we can play it safe with the condom
Henry.
You want to do Henry?
Yeah, let's just do Henry.
Let's get. I feel like we already just drafted Kyle Pitts, so let's take a different guy that's not Kyle Pitts again. Let's not take 2 Kyle Pittses.
Oh my God! I mean, dude, no, I'm not even gonna talk about it.
Please do. Please do.
Kyle Pitts doesn't get traded. Could he actually be a good pick? Could it?
I mean, at this price point, why not? I mean, every tight end's the same. At least that one was a top 10 draft pick, and we've been chasing the dragon. So
I know. I just got really sad even saying that. But I don't know, man. If I really like Michael Penix. I really like Michael Penix,
yeah.
But the coach speak on Pitts definitely has not been good. So let me just bring myself back up. It has not been good.
I mean, the Hayden comp for Michael Penix is Jameis Winston, and they play in a dome for 15 games. So if you believe those two things mattering, don't you want the tight end associated with that, regardless of insert name?
In theory, if we don't have it probably doesn't help that the story of Kyle Pitts, it would be one thing if this was just a guy we never drafted highly. If it was just Cade Otton and we're just doing the Jaydon thing over and over again. But it's Kyle Pitts, and we've all been burned on him so many times that it makes it even more difficult.
To not get burnt at this price point, what does he have to score?
Yeah, good. I mean, it's basically a rhetorical question, right?
Right. 86 fantasy points.
He needs to do. I was looking at this today when I was even looking at some of the tight end seasons, and previously, it was, Dalton Schultz, 2 years ago has 5 touchdowns in this range. Jaydon last year has 4 touchdowns. That's what you need, for some of these picks to pay off, which is a pretty low bar. One thing we should think through here, guys, is now kind of like the QB2 thing, because there are some nice values dropping here in Geno and Cam Ward. I wonder, the other thing we've talked about some other backstack options as well. Would we want to do a backstack with either Geno or Cam Ward on this team?
The backstack with Geno's hard, but I'd rather do it. You know what I mean? I would rather either play Geno naked or force it.
The Cam stuff is easier to backstack because you got Chig. We need a tight end. Or we could do.
Sold.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like.
And I like it better than the Danny Dimes idea of taking Pierce first. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And Cam, Cam gives us a few different outs there. The other kind of angle I was thinking through with the Danny Dimes is we could grab Giddens. We do have the Jacksonville thing. If we want a little light week 17 stuff, you could build something out there. But I think Cam Ward's a fun pairing. With Josh Allen.
I'm not opposed to taking a third quarterback on this team. And
I think we can do Dart for sure.
Yeah, now that it's Cam Ward. Oh, yeah, maybe Dart I wouldn't bother with, but oh, no, never mind. We got neighbors. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the backstack option of Chig as well. I'm not completely out on Chig, man.
No, yeah.
No.
Super athletic.
In fact, I think it's gonna be my recommendation to take Chig
right here. Yeah. Just to lock it in.
And we're still behind at tight end. At least with Chig now, I can sell I won't force my 4 tight end curious stuff on you guys. We could still make that decision, but I think Chig now. So we get Cam Ward, 10 picks past ADP, and then we kind of pull up Chig. We need tight end. We lock in that correlation. Now we got a 2-5-6-3 with 2 more picks left.
Yeah, the only other thing we could have done there is just take the Geno fall and leave the light on, and then get Chig on the way back. And if Chig doesn't fall, then you do the Lockett pick or the what's the other guy's name that I'm blanking on?
A minor.
Yeah.
Yep.
You do that, and then Geno's just unstacked at that point. But would you rather have stacked Dart or unstacked Geno? Is basically the question.
Yeah, I think if it was a 2 quarterback build, definitely unstacked Geno. But if you're going 3, I think I prefer Cam and Dart with Allen as opposed to Geno and Dart. If that makes sense.
Yeah. One thing we glossed over when you guys were throwing shade at the CFL there was it kicked off this week, guys, and Unabated has projections, and
seriously
things are getting wild out here. Oh yeah,
that's hilarious.
Snoop Dogg kicked off the season with a concert in Vancouver last weekend.
Dude, Snoop Dogg, that guy will show up for the opening of anything. That guy is just working his ass off still. He has to be so fucking wealthy at this point, and he will show up. I feel like I could get him to play April's birthday party at this much if I just liquidated all my assets.
Little equity in the Black and Yellow Dog app, and he'll show up. Dude, how about the Snoop Dogg Underdog crossover? It writes itself.
God. Oh yeah.
Him and Shaq both.
Yeah. Snoop doing Underdog ads would be pretty peak. It would be so good.
It writes itself. I'm getting higher, baby.
I'm taking the higher. Oh my God, Nez. Snoop Underdog taking hires. Yeah.
Too easy.
Okay, 2 more picks. We're at a 2-5-6-3. I honestly think we're in good shape at every position. So it's just kind of thinking through what we want to do, maybe from a team correlation standpoint.
I like taking the swing on Keenan Allen.
Dart is now gone, so that's off the table.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm in shambles.
Yeah. You could do. Do we want to? Do we think
running back? Unless we want
to do that 7th wide receiver with Keenan instead, or do you want to do like a Lockett or a correlated Aya Minor with?
I'm gonna say Keenan.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna hold everybody hostage that I'm on a stream with to take Keenan Allen every time.
Nah, this is the price point for it, Nez. Like 202. Like if you're gonna talk me into it in 180 because we're just like, I don't know who the fuck to take, maybe then I'll push back. But like right now feels good. Because like if Cam Ward gets home, it's not because of Tyler Lockett this season.
That's definitely a playoff play. But
so let's rule out quarterback. Let's also rule out wide receiver now that we're up to 7 ones here. I think we limit it to running back and tight end. I do really think it's either a 6th running back or a 4th tight end. The problem is
I'm going to go running back.
Really gross.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think I would do quarterback before I did running back. Or sorry, before I did tight end.
I do like Jatavian. Running back, Brashard Smith or Miles Sanders would probably be the 2 on my short list there. Do you guys have any?
I kind of like Miles Sanders.
Like I said, I've been clicking him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, it's either that or you just do the Io Minor again as the kind of you go 8 wide receivers, but I kind of like the running back as the 6th running back here. It's funny because like how the prices for Mixon and Kamara here are obviously like more of a 0 RB room, but like you're drafting them as if they're going to be like anchors who return like 2nd and 3rd round value. Like if they stay healthy and they're used like they were last year, like you're probably going to have pretty nice meat on the bone. So I think it kind of puts your mind in a blender, how you think about the draft capital you spent at the running back. Like you see Kamara and Mixon up top and it feels like a double anchor team, but like draft capital spend, I think you can justify the 6th running back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that was truly one of those like actually a luxury pick where it was like running back, tight end, or quarterback.
Yeah. I think any pick would have made sense.
If
here's
people
the final
were watching us on stream, I would have taken Anthony Richardson naked.
Why?
In the comfort of my own home, that's what I would have done.
Over Miles Sanders?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we considered going down the path of the Colts back stack. And then if you miss out on Daniel Jones, then I think you're in that spot we were discussing before where Richardson could potentially make sense. Here's the final squad: 2-6-7-3. Allen and Cam Ward at quarterback. 6 running backs: Mixon, Kamara, Cam Scatabo, Zach Charbonnet, Ray Davis, Miles Sanders. We got up to 7 wide receivers here: Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Tyreek Hill, Diggs, Aiyuk, Keon Coleman, and Keenan Allen. And then our 3 tight end room here: Dalton Concaid, Hunter Henry, and Chigakonkwo. Little skinny stack there with Tennessee, an Omega stack there with the Bills. Tons of value on this team, maybe some unique combos at the top, and a nice blend of youth and vets. How we feel about the Golden?
Yeah, I love this team. I mean, we like we said, when you get to round 18, and you're just like, man, I can just do whatever I want here. I don't have a need going on right now. That feels great. So this is definitely one of my favorite teams that we've drafted. I'm telling you, man, these single entries just like it's like 0 resistance in doing what you want.
Yeah, and it is the flip side of, I was talking about like in my Greyhound, I just like slapped it up and got all my guys. But the flip side of that coin is a lot of people are doing that. And if you want to sit back and value hound, you can scoop up a ton of combos and players that you wouldn't otherwise probably be able to get in a regular Schnauzer room or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. The the funnest thing about like getting a couple huge value hounds is it does feel like you snuck in an extra pick on the team.
Right.
And when I look at like, you're not supposed to be able to get Sharps, where we did there, even like pushing tight end as late as we did. Like again, draft capital wise, I'm like, this could be a 4 tight end team, but getting Concaid, almost 20 picks past ADP, essentially makes it look like a more normal 3 tight end team.
Yeah, no.
Are you ever doing 4 tight end, Pete? Like, are you actually entertaining that?
I'm literally entertaining it to the point where I'm like trying to encourage my co-host to do it with me. I have not done it yet myself. I think
last year was a year to do it for me.
Yeah, I still think there are times when it could make sense. Like, let's say we did get Dart as our third quarterback, and then decided you have this decision right between let's say Dart was the Miles Sanders pick. And let's just say it was before it, just because I'm trying to come up with a hypothetical. And then let's say you're deciding between Keenan Allen or Theo Johnson as like a correlated piece there on a really light tight end room where you just are starting to build out a back stack. And there's like this really nice way it lines up to kind of justify the 4th tight end there over the final wide receiver. That might be a case where I would have done it.
Yeah, checks out. Do you think it plays better in a small final or large final contest?
Probably small final.
Yeah, I kind of think so too, because it'll take less to win by getting there, so you don't need ceiling outcome, right?
Yeah. I don't know why this guy. I'd love to lead Pete to a 3 quarterback 4 tight end build.
Well,
you're not gonna have to try too hard. I'm curious.
That's it.
Yeah. Bingo Bongo's got to get that membership going.
I was gonna say that's a nice plug, dude, for the best ball bash.
That is very true. You come on stream with me. You can draft whatever team you want. If you win the spot and you come on right off the rip and you're like 3 quarterback, 4 tight end, no matter what, we will make it happen for sure. So if you guys aren't familiar, every Wednesday I do a show right before the randomizer called Best Ball Bash. If you're a YouTube member on this channel, you are eligible to enter. You just use the hashtag join the bash in the chat right at 1 p.m. Eastern when the show goes live. Then we'll spin a wheel, generally somewhere from 20 to 30 people the first couple of weeks interested in hopping in. So decent odds. And if your name gets called, then you get to hop on stage and draft with me. So Pat Moore poker last week, a very, very fun show with him.
I'm so glad he did that.
Free Pat Moore.
Free Pat Moore.
He was a great guest, man. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yep. What else do you guys have going on this week?
Gonna do baseball after this for the members only. If you hang out on the Badge Bros channel there, you'll be redirected there. That'll be in about 10-13 minutes time here. And rest of the week we'll be doing some football tomorrow. We'll be doing some football on Thursday and Friday, I believe. So gonna be mixed bag of sports plus football. So some WNBA, some NBA pick'ems, some MLB as we're prone to do, and then mixing in football at the latter half of shows there.
Nez, who's winning the NBA Finals?
Oh, it's going to be Thunder in 5. Thunder in 5. They're about to take it to them. They let them have their little fun. Hallie used up all his juju. It's over. Plus, Hallie's dealing with a lower leg thing as well, which actually maybe could be a positive if you ask John. If Hallie sees less minutes and TJ's taking up more of those minutes, but no, it's Thunder in 5 for sure. Also, just like apropos of no sports, but I just saw across my desk in a group chat here that Friendship has like a Blu-ray that they're releasing, the movie Friendship, and included in this Blu-ray is a 12-minute scene of the garage scene with Connor O'Malley and Tim Hockenson. I need like 30 minutes of that.
When is that coming out? Because that is already one. I don't think I can convince my wife to go see it twice in theaters, but I can certainly buy a Blu-ray and watch it in the comfort of my own home.
I think this special edition Blu-ray has just been released. So I saw.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my friend sent me a link on Twitter. And,
I wouldn't even know what to play the Blu-ray on. Like
I have a
doesn't-
Blu-ray player.
My computer doesn't have a CD drive. Like my TV doesn't have any of that shit. Like,
That's the most like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, you get so excited to buy the Blu-ray and then you're like, fuck, now I have to buy a Blu-ray player just to watch the one Blu-ray that I own.
yeah. You got to buy like a 3-year-old Xbox that has the CD drive still.
Did you guys see it? Nez, you saw it in theaters, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I saw it this weekend. Great
okay.
time. I took my wife, and
Dude,
she was.
I
don't know how she felt.
It was one of my favorite movie going experience. I think the last time I had that much fun in the theaters was when I saw Get Out in the theater, and it was just like a super raucous crowd, and obviously an incredible movie. But yeah, I barely get the enthusiasm to go to the theater. Like I really have to be excited about the movie to want to go to a theater, and it just fully delivered for me. I was also extremely high, and that was
pre-COVID. I used to love going to the movies, man. COVID really killed the movie theater going experience. We used to go, like, there was one down the street from me, and we would just walk, and Tuesday nights, like $5 movies or whatever, and they had beers and stuff in the theater and stuff. We would just rotating group of whoever was in the neighborhood. You guys want to walk over and just go see a flick? We'd see whatever was coming out, and now I don't think I've seen a movie in theaters in like 3+ years.
I know. And it's also like, you know, one of the things I loved about Friendship too is like there just haven't been, and again, your mileage is going to vary. If you like Tim Robinson, you're going to love the movie. If you don't know who he is, maybe you don't like it. But there hasn't been like just a laugh out loud movie, at least for me, in so long. And like I was trying to think back, and I'm like, in high school when I went and saw the Will Ferrell movies, obviously you had that Judd Apatow run that was like really good, some laugh out loud movies. But I'm like, when was like in the 2010s? Like, I don't remember like going to laugh in a movie theater ever.
Dude, it's weird that like the death of like comedy movies, like it's so strange. Like when you actually think about it,
too PC, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone got too PC.
All right.
You're not allowed to make the good Seth Rogen ones anymore.
Honestly, I think it's more so the way it's really hard in A24, who's the studio behind this one. They're like one of the few, you know, studios that are like willing to take more creative risks on this stuff. Whereas like the big studios, like it's all just existing IP, sequels, etc. And so I think the creative pipeline gets jammed up. Like I think there's probably a ton of brilliant writers and screenwriters sitting on very funny screenplays in their, you know, Los Angeles, you know, bungalows right now that have just never seen the light of day because these studios don't actually want to take on the risk.
100%.
That's a good point. Yeah.
All right. Well, have
you guys watched Tires yet?
We were just talking about that on Swolecast. I've seen Tires.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's fun. It's a fun watch. All right, we're gonna let you guys get to the Membies only. Like I said, I got Bash and Randomizer tomorrow. Ron Stewart, the guest for Randomizer. Anything else from you, Nez, for this week?
No, just streams with Jon. John's holding down the fort for the Membies, but I'll be back tomorrow.
Cool. And as always, we'll continue to toss it out there. If you guys have anything you specifically want us to draft, let us know. We've been kind of bouncing around and or doing whatever's new in the lobby. But if it's business as usual next week, maybe we can have a little dealer's choice as far as Superflex or something else we've already done. But feel free to let us know in the comments. And otherwise, we'll see you guys next time on Off and On the Clock. Have a great rest of your week. Peace.